Hey, want to know a secret? You're not losing clients because your offer stinks. You're losing them because your message sounds just like everyone else's.
If your message could be copy-pasted into your competitor's ad and still make sense, you don't have a brand. You've got background noise. Today, we're talking about something way bigger. The big idea.
The message that breaks patterns, flips beliefs, and makes your audience say, wait, what did they just say? That moment, the pause, the curiosity, the little jolt that says this is different, that's where real marketing begins.
And once you learn how to create it, you'll never go back to saying generic stuff again.
Hey everyone, Rob Sousa here, again with another grenade dropping episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly, and I am looking forward to today's episode because it was transformative for me when I learned this from my coach, and we are going to help financial advisors and sales agents, business owners stop chasing leads and start attracting clients through strategy, story, and smart automation. Today's episode is going to hit a nerve, so sit back, be prepared, but grab a pen and paper because you're going to need it. We're diving into the power of the big idea. That one belief shifting message that makes people stop scrolling, lean in, and say, wait, what did you say? Because the truth is, most advisors don't have a marketing problem. They have a messaging problem. And by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to fix it. So let's dive in.
I used to give perfect presentations and still lose the prospect. That's when I realized information doesn't convert.
I switched from saying we help reduce retirement taxes to deferring taxes doesn't save you money, it just delays the pain.
And instantly people leaned in. They stopped nodding politely and started saying, wait, that's exactly what's happening to me. That's when my message started working. Once I learned how to craft that kind of belief shift, my appointments doubled without changing a single ad or funnel.
So how do we change people's beliefs? Well, every moment starts with a single message that challenges what people thought they knew. Think about Tesla. They didn't sell electric cars. They sold the idea that performance and sustainability could live in the same garage. Or love him or hate him, Dave Ramsey, he didn't sell budgeting, value-based budgeting. He sold the idea that debt is slavery and nobody wants to be a slave to money. That's what a big idea does. It doesn't just sell, it reframes reality. It reframes the way people perceive the world at which they live in. Take the financial world, for example. Every advisor says, oh, we help retirees reduce taxes, or we create guaranteed income. Sounds nice, right? I'm thinking of a Fox News commercial that says, every time the market goes down, our clients lock in their gains and never have losses. And if you watch Fox, you will recognize and be annoyed by how often that commercial plays. But take the financial world for like as an example, because we have service agents and other private business owners. But every advisor in the financial world says, we help retirees reduce taxes, as we mentioned. And it sounds nice, but it's flat. And there's no belief shift. It's just explaining what you do. It's an elevator pitch, and people know when they're being sold. Instead, consider something like deferring taxes doesn't save you money, it just delays the pain. Boom, instant curiosity, instant emotion, instant differentiation, because you're not saying the same thing as the other 250,000 advisors around the country. Now, that's just an example for that industry, but I'm sure you can relate it to your industry, because now you're not just teaching, you're challenging the way people think. Let me tell you a quick story. A retiree for our company, American Financial, named Mark, smart guy, worked 30 years, maxed out his 401k, did everything right. But when he retired, yep, Uncle Sam was waiting with a bigger appetite than ever on that deferred 401k. And between the minimum required distribution, Social Security taxation, and bracket creep, rising taxes, his retirement plan turned into a tax trap. And he had significantly less income than he ever anticipated and how to downscale his lifestyle. That's not just a messaging issue. That's a lifestyle game changer. And that's what we're talking about today, is how can you change the way people think about the world they live in so that you can serve them better than your competition. That's what this concept does. It takes someone from pain to proper perspective. That's when your audience says, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I feel that way too. And that's what's exactly happening to me. And once they feel that, they're ready to listen. Not because you taught them something significant. It's because you showed them, and you showed them in a way that allowed them to put themselves in the story and say, yeah, that's like me. All right, before I get too far in, I got to make sure we're answering questions. And I know a DM came in to us before the show. So Deborah from Birmingham wanted to answer your question. She's saying, how do I actually come up with a big idea like that? Something that really flips what people believe. And that's a great question. So start by finding the belief that needs changing or breaking. The best ideas don't just inform people, they challenge the way people think, or challenges what they think they know. And that's what makes people lean in and say, wait, what if I've been doing this wrong for all this time? I may need to relook at this. Hopefully that answers your question, Deborah. And we're going to transition into our next segment.
My first advisor said what they all say: we will help you reduce taxes in retirement. But every meeting was the same. Same charts, numbers, no clarity. I was left confused. Another advisor said, deferring taxes doesn't save you money, it just delays the pain. And I finally realized the truth. That was me. I wasn't saving, I was stacking a tax bomb. That was my aha moment. When someone didn't just talk about money, they showed me myself. And that is something really priceless.
A big idea, it's not a tagline. It's got to be a grenade of an idea, which is how I open the show. It explodes what your audience used to believe and replaces it with something new. Something that makes them stop scrolling and start thinking. And here's how to create yours. First, identify the belief your audience already has that's you think is keeping them stuck Example, tax deferral saves me money, meaning if I put money in my 401k, I don't have to pay taxes till later, and taxes will probably be lower in the future. That's what we've all been told, and that's the way people think, and it's our job to challenge that thought. Second, you need to expose the pain that is attached to that misbelief, or the pain that they may experience if they don't change their belief. And you have to build the case for it. Yeah, that's what most people think until, like, as an example, yeah, that's what most people think about 401ks, until they realize they just postponed the IRS's payday to in the middle of your retirement when you need the money the most. Then all of a sudden, that's when they experience the pain. Third, introduce the new truth, your truth, the truth you want them to know. Hey, there's a smarter way to control your taxes instead of deferring them, to avoid the pitfalls down the road, the tax trap, whatever it is that you want to frame. But it's your job to figure out how to reframe their thinking. And that's it. 3 steps. So point out the pain of the old belief, then help them discover the new belief. And then voila, you just created transformation. Facts don't persuade people. Teaching, facts, charts, numbers, it doesn't persuade people. It's stories that persuade people, and it's stories that people remember. People don't buy data. They buy direction, instruction, coaching. Your job isn't to sound smarter, not to offend the advisors out there. I know we all want to sound smart, but your job is to help people from the broken belief system that is going to get them in trouble. Your job is to help the audience see what they believe before it might actually hurt them. When you make that shift from information to transformation, that's when the light bulb goes off. Now, let's talk about the offer. Once someone's belief changes, the offer becomes obvious, because now they want what you have or what you're demonstrating, not because you pitched it, but because it's the next logical step in their new transformed worldview that you help them discover. Your offer isn't a transaction. It's an invitation. It's the bridge between who they were and who they want to become. When your message, your story, and your offer align, that's when your audience stops thinking sales pitch and starts thinking, oh, a solution to my problem. And we're going to cut to the next.
You know what finally made my marketing work? Not another funnel. A belief grenade. I'd been selling facts, but people don't buy data. They buy direction. So I flipped the script.
Instead of tax deferral saves money, I said, deferring taxes doesn't save you, it traps you. And boom, belief shattered, here comes the light bulb moment. If you want people to stop scrolling and start believing, don't sell facts. Drop a belief shift. That's the real conversion strategy.
Nothing like a smoky whiskey in the morning. So here's all of your challenge this week. Before you post another article, video, or ad, ask yourself these 3 questions. What belief am I breaking? What story can I tell that proves it? And then what offer can I give to solve it? If you just walk away with those 3 things, you'll be able to recreate exactly what we're talking about in your very next piece of content. If you could answer those 3 questions, congratulations. You're already ahead of 90% of the financial advisors and service agents across America, because you're not selling services anymore. You're selling a shift in thinking. That's why people like Tony Robbins is so successful. They don't see him as a marketer. They see him more as a motivational thinker, motivational speaker who's helping you change the way you see the world. And that's the only thing people actually pay attention to. Remember, attention isn't earned by, attention is earned by disruption. But that's just step one. The disruption is the I'm having trouble this morning, is the disruption of their line of thinking. It's making a statement that goes, huh? Even if they totally disagree with you, it still makes them want to pull back and say, what? And then they want to hear what you have to say to back up your opinion. Trust is earned by empathy, which is the next step. And the story creates that empathy. And then action will be earned by you giving them clarity of a solution to now the newly perceived problem. When your big idea connects those three things, you stop being part of the algorithm and start becoming the authority in the room. Okay, I'm going to squeeze in a question here. Jeffrey, Mesa, Arizona. But how do I know if my message is actually breaking a belief or if it's more noise online, which is a good question. Short answer, if your content makes people stop, think, or even disagree for a moment, you're breaking a belief. So the goal isn't to be liked or get views or comments. It's to make your audience reconsider what they thought was true. And that's how I would encourage you to go about it. I've seen other questions come in, but I'm going to keep moving. And if I see another question come in, I'll try and answer that. But make sure you become the loudest signal and you cut through all the noise. Before we jump into our final recap, let's take a quick look at the next video.
There are 3 very important questions you need to answer before posting.
What belief am I breaking? What story proves it? What offer makes it real? Once I started doing that, everything changed. Because suddenly, I wasn't just posting information, I was sparking transformation. That's when I realized I'm not selling services. I'm selling a shift in thinking.
Earn attention with disruption. Earn trust with empathy. Earn action with clarity. Do that and you don't just play the algorithm. You become the signal.
Okay, so if you didn't already notice, I am doing in today's video what I am teaching you to do. I'm trying to change the way you think about your marketing and your messaging. And what I want you to do is I want you to rethink your next big idea that is going to shift the way people think. What belief are you going to flip this week for your audience? Take one of your existing marketing lines like, we help people retire comfortably, and rewrite it so it makes someone stop and think. Post it in the comments or send me a DM or an email or send it to if you have a virtual assistant, send it to them and build a campaign around that idea. And next week, we're taking this one step further. We'll talk about how to turn that attention into action using funnels that actually convert. Because your big idea will get attention, but your funnel gives that attention a direction to go. And where's that? Hopefully your calendar, or if you're selling a product, to the purchase page, right? If this episode was helpful and it hit you with an aha moment, then I encourage you to hit the like button, share it with another colleague who would benefit and who you think may be able to shift the way they approach their marketing by getting other people to shift the way they think. Don't forget to subscribe for ongoing content like this, and don't miss next week's deep dive into how to convert after you've changed their thinking. How do you create an offer through a sales funnel to convert appointments onto your calendar? I'm Rob Sousa, reminding you, a big idea explains what you do. Or sorry, a bad idea explains what you do, and a big idea changes what people believe. So until next time, I'll see you in the digital world.